Good morning. This is Lady Charlotte coming to you from beautiful Buda, Texas. And it is a lovely May day. It is a beautiful day for going fishing. And that's what this Kickstarter is all about. It's about memories and things that will trigger those memories of your childhood, of a happy time, of things that you did when you were young, and the places that you went to go fishing. And that's what this Kickstarter is going to be all about. And I made these pieces here yesterday, and I did a video, but for some reason the video didn't work. It said it had a bad file or something, corrupted something or other. And so we're doing it again today. And this is not really wanting to stand up too good, but we'll see if we can readjust it a little bit. And right now what I'm doing to these pieces, like I said, I made these yesterday. But today I'm taking a little wet sponge and going around the edges so that there's not any sharp edges, softening the edge so that it'll be nice and smooth and no sharp edges to hurt anybody. So that's what I'm doing. While I'm doing this, I'm going to talk to you about my memories of going fishing at the old fishing hole. A couple of them. One of my earliest memories of going fishing is to go fishing with my Uncle Fawn. And he was actually my great uncle. But he never married. The story is that he was in love with my grandmother, and that my grandfather talked her into marrying him when Uncle Fawn was away. And he just never got over it, and he never married. He sort of stayed true to her all that time. And she died young. She was only 24 when she died. And she died from a miscarriage. Back then, it wasn't the same kind of thing as it is now. And but we're not going to talk about that part. That's a sad memory. Even though it's not one of my memories, it's one of his. We're going to talk about the memories of going fishing. He would take me fishing, and he would get an old cane pole, not a rod and a reel, but an old cane pole with some string attached to it, and some hooks attached to that string, and maybe a bobber tied around it too. And we would go down to the fishing hole. And the fishing hole was actually a stock tank. It was where the cows and the horses went to drink. But there were fish in it. There was catfish mostly, and there were a few perch. Some of those bluegill perch were pretty little fish. And I don't believe there were any bass in that hole. It wasn't big enough to really support a whole lot of things. And this one I'm working on now, this piece that I'm working on, cleaning it up, this is a dragonfly. And get him cleaned up so that he won't be sharp around the edges anywhere. And then we'll set him down to dry again. These pieces here are pretty, even though they were just made yesterday, they're pretty dry. And it's the weather right now. You can throw a piece in the morning and trim it in the afternoon. The drying time is so fast. Anyway, back to my fishing trip. We would go down there and we would catch fish. And Uncle Fawn would tell me stories. And that's how I learned the stories about my grandmother. These were stories that he told to me when I was a little girl. And I just loved Uncle Fawn's stories. They were just so special to me. And I just like to do these things. And these things here that I'm doing, this dragonfly and these butterflies and this turtle and all these little things that you might find down there at that pond. You know, oh, the turtles. These are the kind of turtles that were down at the pond. Now, this kind of turtle here, I got two turtles. This turtle here, he's kind of a sea turtle. He's not, I wouldn't have seen him down at the pond. But I definitely would have seen this kind down at the pond. And that kind would drive me nuts. They would steal my bait, and they'd make me think I had a fish on. The bobber would be going up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'd think I was catching a fish, and I'd go to reel it in, and there wouldn't be anything there because it was just an old turtle playing with my bait. And they were real good at stealing bait. And we didn't fish with nothing but just a bunch of worms. But they liked worms, I guess. And they would steal my bait every time they got a chance. And I also had fishing times with my mommy and dad. Now, that was a whole different fishing experience than the one with my Uncle Fawn. As I said, with Uncle Fawn, we went down there and we fished, and he told stories, and the turtles chased us and tried to take our bait and everything. But with my dad, we went down on the river, on the Kern River, outside of Bakersfield, California. And we were fishing for catfish. And my dad was of the old school that you did not talk while you were fishing, because if you made any noise, you'd scare the fish off. And his idea was to remain completely silent while he was fishing. And everybody around him had to be completely silent. Well, for a young girl, that was kind of hard to do. And I got in a lot of trouble for talking when I was on fishing trips with him. So I tried very carefully and quietly to be quiet and not make too much noise and scare all the fish off. When I think back on it now, the Kern River is a very swift river, and it makes a lot of noise all by itself. The Kern River makes a lot of noise. So I don't think that my little voice asking questions now and then would have made that much noise that it would have scared off any of those fish. But anyways, those are some of my memories. And I'm sure you have your own memories of times when you went fishing and went with your mom and dad, or maybe even your own kids. I also have memories of going with my husband and taking our kids to go fishing, and not ever telling my kids that they couldn't talk, because I always felt so bad about not being able to talk when I was fishing with my mom and dad. And sometimes my mama would take me and she'd go down the river just a pace so that we weren't right next to Daddy. And then I could talk to her. And she'd take me off down the river just out of earshot of my dad so that I wasn't disturbing his peaceful, quiet fishing time. And but this Kickstarter, with these pieces that I'm making for it, they are intended to invoke memories for you. Not necessarily for me. I mean, they already have for me, and I've told you about some of my memories. But I want them to also invoke memories for you. I want you to look at them and to think about when you were a child, or when you took your children, or whatever memories that come up, and just think about those things. And these rewards are meant to tell you about those memories. Now, the first ones I've got here, these are the small flat ones, and they are, there's butterflies and there's dragonflies, and we have a frog, we have a little perch, we have another turtle, that's the one that looks like a sea turtle, and then we have the little newt, or Inoli, or Inole, as my son says. It's Inole, you don't pronounce the back one. And those are the ones that are the small pieces, and they're going to be used as, you can ask for them to be used to be made into a magnet. You can ask for them to be made into a pendant. You can ask for them to be made into a pin, a brooch, to wear on your shirt, pin to your shirt, and or you could just have them as kind of a paperweight, you know, to stick over a stack of paper so they don't blow away. You know, there's just all kinds of things that you could have them for, and that's these small ones. Okay, now the one like this turtle, he's not the small turtle. He's a larger turtle, and he'll be in a different category, and he is definitely one to be in a paperweight. He's not going to make any of those other things that I mentioned for these, and he's going to be something just to sit on your desk and look at, or put up in your china cabinet, or whatever. He's a hand sculpted turtle, a medium-sized turtle. He's not large, he's just a medium-sized. There will be the medium-sized pieces will be the turtle, the and the frog. Those will be the pieces that I will make in a medium size. And there will also be the pieces that I will make in a large size. Also, I plan on making a largemouth bass, which I don't have made yet. I haven't made him yet, so we'll wait a little while and then I'll get to him. I'm trying to get all these guys done first. And this little tool that I'm using right here is one of the handiest, dandiest little tools. I got this at an Ensika, and it's this very sharp little knife blade. And it just, it scrapes up and takes the clay, the dry clay out. So pretty. Makes some nice sharp edges, corners, not edges. We want the edges to be soft. And we go in and we clean these up. And as you look at the list of the rewards, you'll understand what I'm making and what the pieces are for. And I hope you'll enjoy this Kickstarter as much as I'm enjoying making it. It has definitely, going through this and reliving memories that I'm 78 years old, and I'm talking about things that happened when I was 7 or 8 years old. And so that's 70 years ago. It's a long time. But those memories are still sharp and fresh in my mind, and I'm happy to be able to say that. Sometimes I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can remember going fishing with Uncle Fawn. But, I hope you guys will enjoy this one. And you can look at the rewards for a more detailed description of what we're doing here. And this is a trip down memory lane. And I hope it'll be a trip down memory lane for every one of you. Give you some good things to remember. some happy times to remember. And this will be the end of this one for right now, and I will catch you later. I will be making some updates all along on this and making new videos and all that good stuff. I'm going to be doing better than I did on the last one. The last one I had fair and everything else going on, and I just didn't have the time to make videos on it for the updates. But this one I will have time. So there will be updates with videos. And I thank you for being here with me. I thank you for being my backers. You are so special to me. And I will see you in the Kickstarter.